Rudy Giuliani is getting the Presidential Medal of Freedom, the highest civilian honor the country can give to someone. And why? Because he survived a car accident or something vaguely pro-Trumpy. I don't know. Trump put out this Truth Social message saying, as President of the United States of America, he reminds you, I am pleased to announce that Rudy Giuliani, the greatest mayor in the history of New York City and an equally great American patriot, will receive the Presidential Medal of Freedom, our country's highest civilian honor. Details as to time and place to follow. Thank you for your attention to this matter. Make America great again. So all that's weird and doesn't have a lot of detail. But Giuliani's spokesman said, there is no American more deserving of this honor, which, look, maybe some of you like Rudy Giuliani or whatever, either now or you liked how he responded to 9/11 back in the day. The idea that there is no one in America more deserving of that honor is so objectively untrue. I can't believe that even a person being paid to say it would in fact say it. He saved New York City. What was New York City in trouble in response to 9/11? Like if it had been a lesser mayor, the entire city would have crumbled or whatever. He comforted the nation following 9/11. Fine. I think some people found comfort in his leadership, and that's worthy of acknowledgement, which, by the way, he got for years and years and years. I don't know if decades later he needs the Medal of Honor. And he served in countless other ways to improve the lives of others. Now, that is very up for debate considering the accusations that have been made against him in a variety of areas, which we can remind you of. But the weird thing is, he had just been hospitalized this weekend after his vehicle was struck from behind at high speed, which is scary and sad, by the way. I don't know Rudy Giuliani. I spent some time sort of hanging out in the same area as him during the RNC, and he seemed fine, if a little bit weird then. But I'm also familiar with the accusations made against him, so I have very, very mixed, I guess would be the positive way of saying it, thoughts about him. But the weird thing is, they put out a statement about him being hit by the car. And like it has this whole thing about how he helped out a woman who was a victim of a domestic violence incident, which has nothing to do with the accident, but it's part of the statement. Like that he was flagged down by a woman who needed help and he helped her. And then he gets back in his car and he starts driving and then a car hits him. Like, I don't understand why that's part of the story. Like, even if you assume that it's true, and it's Rudy Giuliani, so I don't assume that it's true, but let's say that it is. What does that have to do with it? It just feels, the entire thing feels weird. I don't know, am I the bad guy, Elliot? Like, what does it matter what you did earlier in the day before you were in a tragic random car? It almost makes it seem as if they were trying to hit him because of what he'd done. What do you think?
Yeah, you're not going to protect a domestic abuse victim on my watch and then just rear end Rudy Giuliani. No, my understanding was that he was just waiting in his car to make sure that the victim was okay, and that's when it happened. I assume that's the connection, but I don't think, regardless of what medal you give Rudy Giuliani, it's never going to make people forget about him standing in front of the Four Seasons landscaping building, which will go down for me as one of my favorite memories of all time, politically or otherwise. I think it's going to be one of those memories that flashes before me when I leave this earth and shuffle off my mortal coil or whatever. Yeah, and I am hoping too, when he starts like scratching at his Medal of Freedom, it just reveals that there's shoe polish all over it, and then it's like actually just a tin thing. I can't take the guy seriously. I think he's not great. I think that he did some good stuff during 9/11, and he had this wonderful reputation, and then he chose to fall in line with Trump, and now this is sort of, I think, his cherry on the cake. Like they've had some falling out, or cherry on the Sunday. They've had some falling outs, and I think this is sort of a blessing from the king to say thank you for your good work, regardless of our differences in the past. But yeah, I mean, I think that it's sort of trying to make up for all the bad stuff he's done.
Yeah, maybe. Yeah, I hope, add this to the long list of things that I hope can be denormalized, that you just give it to just whoever you like. Like you give it to Mary Mailson or whatever. She gave me a bunch of money during the election, so she gets the Civilian Medal of Honor. Like, I just hope we can go back to these things representing something. And in the meantime, he owes a lot of money to the people he has slandered. Maybe they can take the medal and sell it. It's gold. Maybe that can go towards them. Also, I had thought that he was waiting on the side of the road. The official statement says he was traveling on the highway. Maybe they meant like he had stopped while traveling. I don't know. The entire thing is very strange. I don't think he's done anything to deserve it or whatever. Like he was a mayor a couple decades ago, and man, they make a lot of that. His chief of security says he's in great spirits after it, and I'm glad that he is survived the accident. I didn't want him to get in an accident. He's a beast. He survived 9/11. He wasn't in the building. Why wouldn't he have survived 9/11? Lots of people were in New York when it happened. It's so strange to say that he survived it. He wasn't on the plane. I don't know. We live in such a strange country. And I will just put up one last graphic and then we'll close things out. I know we're over time, but so obviously there's all the election fraud stuff. He ended up being disbarred. He defamed election workers with grotesque racist lies and has had to pay the money as a result of that. There's also the allegations of sexual assault, and that is still hanging out there. I just want to remind everyone, and if you read into that, and we've previously done the reporting, there's a lot of really dark stuff in there. I will just remind everyone, and that weirdly for Trump, not a thing that he's worried about as someone who's being accused of being a sexual predator. I'm just gonna point that out.